My name is Curtis Smith. I'm from off the east side, Low Bottoms. I ran with the Rollin 30 Blood gang. Pirus, that is. The Low Bottoms is like, you would say, the last neighborhoods of down before you reach downtown LA. From Slauson on back. In this section you have the 30 Rules, the 20 Outlaws, Four Tray Gangsters, Four Gangsters, 40 Avalon, Four Tray Avalons, Blood Stone Villains, and the Pueblo Bishops. I was a Blood gang member ever since elementary school. It all started right here, at this school here, Wadsworth Elementary. I would say that I did actually about 35 years of running the streets, being a Blood gang member. I've been fully active since I was 12 years old. My older brothers, you know, they got me by several years, so I never really hung with them, more so. But my brother Crick, we're a year apart, and he's my best friend, as well as my brother. And he was very protective over me. If anybody fucked with me, he got that. And then, just as well as the other older ones though, you know, I was always like, more so protected by them.
What year was this when you're at Wadsworth Elementary, part of the gang?
I would go so far back to say 1978, 1979. At that time, 30 Piru didn't exist. It was more so Four Piru is where we all started at. But it was a host of us that lived in the 30s, but we was banging Four Piru. So I say about 78, 79, we came with this 3-0 thing, you know. We all left the Four thing and came with our own thing.
So who were some of the original Four Pirus?
The big homie Tyree, known as Rooster. My other big homie Nana, rest in peace, both of them guys. And Silver Plate, Big Swan, homie Diggum, Prick, T-Money, Big Turk, and more so that was some of the big homies from Four Rules.
So a lot of those dudes started the 30 Pirus?
Well, those dudes stuck with the Four thing, Four Piru. Like my older brothers, Slim and Goldie, and the guys that was in his age rate is who started this 30 thing. You know, we have a street called Central Avenue, and Central Avenue was always the divider. Like, on one side of Central was the Blood side, and then the other side was the Crip side. And then we had the gang Four Gangsters that formed around that same time. So they street was on our side of Central. So that's how, like, more so the Crip thing started on that side of Central. But it was never anything with them not being able to hold their shit down. It's just more so like they generations never went past a certain, you know, generation with the 40s.
So were the Four Crips some of the early rivals to you guys?
Yes, indeed. Four and 30 Rules started to form about the same time. And by us being like, you know, ex-Four Bloods, and then they came with the Four Crips, we kind of like felt like they was the bicentennials, and it just went from there, you know. But in reality, you know, they were who they were and we were who we were. Four Crip is just another little clique off Four Tray Gangster. Four Tray Gangster was first.
Okay, so we're talking about Four Gangster Crips?
Yes, sir.
But wasn't there for a minute also Four Crip gang not too far from here?
That's a new thing.
Okay. Now, was that conflict starting as early as Wadsworth Elementary?
Well, yes, more so, you know, because they was there, you know. It was guys just like me, you know. And, you know, some of us, we never, like, let that come in between us. But then a few of us, we kind of, like, let the gang shit come in between us. And you know, that's where it all started at.
And who were some of the early guys from the Four Deuces and the Four Trays that you bumped heads with back in them years?
Well, back in those years, it was Chino, Gangster, Bebop, Lil SWAT, AC Doocy, few other cats, Crazy A. I went to Carver Junior High.
And where's that at?
That's located on Vernon and McKinley in the low bottoms. A little bit of everybody went to that school, but it was in Four Tray Gangster neighborhood.
And tell me about those years. We're talking about 7th, 8th, and 9th
7th,
grade.
8th, and 9th grade. That's when the gunplay and everything else came in effect. Some of the guys that I went to Wadsworth with became enemies with me at that time.
What's that like? Because you just playing on the playground here at Wadsworth with them. No big issues probably, but then here you are at Carver and it's just a whole nother level.
Yeah, well, you know, as you grow and you get a little older, you know, your mind think a little different. So more so, I don't know. Back in my time of growing up, everybody was in search for reputation, you know? And we all did whatever it took to get that reputation. And some people just went kind of overboard. And I would more so say that I kind of went overboard, you know? I forgot where I come from and who I grew up with, and, you know, in a lot of aspects of that nature. And, you know, it turned me against some of the guys that I shouldn't have never been turned against. Well, you know, this is crazy, you know? Like, for one, I have an associate by the name of Thaddeus, also known as Gangster from Four Tray Gangster. He's one of the guys that I started off with right here at Wadsworth Elementary. And he's a year older than me. He's the same age as my brother Crick. And him and Crick was real, you know, good friends back in elementary. But once we got to junior high, somehow me and Thaddeus lost track of where we come from, and, you know, we started fighting and shooting at each other and those type of things. So in this day and age, we ran across each other a couple of months ago, and we exchanged numbers, and we decided that we was gonna do breakfast together. So today, I just happened to do breakfast with Thaddeus today, and also me and you had this interview planned. So it just all worked out, you know. While we was having breakfast, you happened to show up, and, you know, I hooked him on to you and let him know what I was doing today. So he decided that, you know, he didn't have a problem with, you know, doing this thing with me. And, you know, like I say, a couple of months ago, we settled our differences like men, you know? And we to the point in life where, you know, I'm 49, he's 49. And back when we was fighting and doing what we was doing, we was 13 and 14 and years like that, you know? So, you know, I'm at peace with myself now, and I have a lot of friends, regardless of what side of the fence they on. I'm a granddad 4 or 5 times, and I'm quite sure he is too. So, you know, we got a lot of things going on for ourselves in life, and we put the bullshit behind us, and now we comrades.
My name's Thaddeus. People call me Thad for short. Four Tray Gangsters. His brother Charlie, me and his brother Charlie were the same age. So actually, I started off banging against his brother Charlie, Cricket, and then this guy came along. It used to be him and another guy named Boo Boo from BSV.
And did that was that all at the junior high school?
Yeah, at Carver.
At Carver.
Yeah, at Carver. So you had Blood Stone Pirus, you had Blood Stone Villains, Outlaws, and then you had Four Trays, Four Tray Avalons, and you had Four Deuce Broadways and Four Deuce. At that time, you only had designated schools. Now you got schools like
Everywhere.
on every block, almost like liquor stores. So basically, everybody that went to Wadsworth or 49th Street Elementary School went to Carver. And then some went to, what was the other school? Bethune.
Bethune,
Yeah,
Edison.
Yeah, so if you went to Ascot you was going to Carver, and then also Edison. Also, you had some East Coasters at Carver too. And then at Bethune, you had some Four Trays that got kicked out of Carver. They went to Bethune or Edison.
Now, how is it to sit next to someone and have breakfast together with someone y'all was fighting, busting on each other, you know, decades ago? How do you guys even break the ice and have a conversation when there was a lot of hate there at one point?
You know what? We broke the ice like about 15 years ago, I think it was. His daughter, his youngest, is that your youngest daughter?
No, she's not my youngest, but yeah, one of my daughters.
Well, one of my youngest son and his daughter, that was in the same school right here. This little one right here, and they started off in preschool. They started off in preschool, and they still talk, right?
Right to this day.
They still talk. And then the graduation, I seen him and his brother Cricket. They was here, and I was here, and we was at the graduation. So we kind of like broke the ice right there.
And then we met up maybe like a month ago or so. And you know, I always wanted to hang out with him, you feel me? So, you know, I told him, man, I wanted to hang out with you, man. We ain't never messed with each other out here, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, he felt the same way, like, you know, it can be possible that we can be friends, you feel me?
Yes.
So, you know, we decided to have a meal together today. And, you know, we trying to do this, you know?
Yeah, like they say, you know, that old saying, you can't really be friends unless you break bread or break a meal. I don't hang around with those young guys, so I don't know what's going on. To tell you the truth, that's their beef. My beef with him is officially over, you know, or any black man to that matter. You know, I'm just out here trying to live.
Well, me, myself, you know, I know all the youngsters from both sides of the fence. And like I say, I'm at peace within my heart. And, you know, I respect any black man for whatever corner they hang on. So I also have a job right up here on Central Avenue. I ride a bike, and I ride from Vernon to Washington. So I'm riding through Four Tray and Four Deuce hood, and I'm riding through my hood. So, you know, I see a lot of people and meet a lot of people, you know? And more so, everybody respect me, and I respect them. So, in this day and age, I'm 49 now. I done seen a lot, I done a lot. And, you know, I'm not about hurting no black man anymore, you know? And this man right here, it's a blessing, and it's very, like, you know, deep with me and him. You know, like I say, we started off in elementary, and you know, back then, you know, I've been to his house, he's been to my house, him and my bro was best friends, and then he has another brother that rests in peace at this time, but his older brother at that time, he was a good friend to one of my other brothers, like they were the same age. So, you know, we got history together that, you know, we kind of like lost and forgot about that, you know? Because back when we was growing up, you know, our parents couldn't afford to buy us bikes and stuff like that, you know? And I remember going over his house and going down in the basement, and they had several bike frames and rims and things like that. And, you know, I was allowed to go down there and grab whatever I want from down there to put me a bike together. And then I used to go swimming at Gilbert Lindsay Park, you know? And like I say, it's a couple of other brothers that's in our generation too that we never let the gang shit come between us.
You know, it's kind of funny is we all related some kind of way. Like we was talking, his nephew is married to my wife's niece. Got a couple kids, so we all
tied in one way or another.
You know, we gonna see each other. You know, whether it's graduations, family stuff. We gonna see each other. So we all family, some kind of way. My family is a big family from Four Tray. You know, it's at least about 20 of us. You know, from the oldest one to little nephews, but none of my sons. I got 3 boys. So I didn't bring the gang stuff to my house, you know, and I didn't bring alcohol and weed because I don't smoke. So usually a person gonna do as they see. So I never exposed them to all that stuff, you know. So yes, I do have nephews Actually, I got a little cousin, Baby Ray P. He got life in prison right now, doing some stuff out there in Moreno Valley.
You know, I come from a large family. You know, I have a gang of nieces and nephews, and practically all of them is involved in gangs. I have a niece from Four Tray Gangster. She harder than some of the men.
Yes, she is.
You know, I got a nephew from Four Tray Gangster. You know, other than that, all my nieces and nephews that are involved in gang, we are from the same gang.
So is there any way to get a message to some of the younger family members, like when they see this, do you think this will have an impact on some of the younger generation?
I think so. I think it'll have an impact, but sometimes, you know, it's not your time. You know, sometimes folks say, oh, I heard that before. You know, I used to say the same thing. You know, they used to ask me, when you gonna stop banging? I'm gonna stop banging when I kill me a blood. You know, that's what I used to say. Okay, man.
All right, homie. If me and him can do it, anybody can do it. Because we was deep. We was deep into it, bro. And, you know, like, in this thing, you know, he lost a brother in this thing. Me, I lost a brother too. Fortunately, it wasn't to death, but he's on death row. And you know, it could have been any one of us. But me and him, we still here. And just like he said, people thought he wouldn't live to be a certain age. Well, I had people that felt the same way about me. And now I'm doing the things that I'm doing and I'm still here. You know, a lot of people is proud of me and very surprised in me. But you know, I'm here for the long haul and I'm gonna be here. I ain't going nowhere.
This part right here, this is 3 different hoods that's been going at it for years, and we can stand here and actually say that we have changed. And this is the start of a change right here. This is the start of a change.
Let's name those hoods right now.
We from 40th Street Avalon.
I'm from 30 Rue. 30 Piru.
Four Tray Gangster. And that's history.
Thanks for watching StreetTV.net. If you're not subscribed, please hit that button below and click the bell to receive alerts and notifications. Feel free to comment below so you can give us your feedback, and be sure to watch the 2 related episodes to the right. If you want to support this platform or follow us on social media, visit the links in the description. And thanks for watching StreetTV.net.